Okay, continuing on with the Gilligan's Island sheet. Yes, I decided to keep the quote-unquote soundtrack going in the background here. I don't know, there's something pleasant about having a torturous jingle repeat until you finish a task. Here we go. At the beginning of period 3, the professor, being absent-minded, goes for a swim in the lagoon with 75% of his wealth in his shorts pocket. He saved some for period 1 and 2 income, so I don't have exactly how much 75% is. It's a number embedded in a question that can be used to just throw you off. And if you notice, a lot of questions are that way. So you have to know which numbers are relevant and which ones aren't. But guess what? In the game of life, we're surrounded by data of all kinds, and we have to sort out which data is relevant and which isn't. So let me just go from the beginning again. At the beginning of period 3, the professor, being absent-minded, goes for a swim in the lagoon with 75% of his wealth in his shorts pocket. The money, now $500, is forever lost in the water. That's all that's relevant, is that there's money gone from their economy. What does this mean for the professor's consumption? Well, that's probably a no-brainer. Dude just lost most of his money. His consumption is falling. He can't do it as well, can he? So it decreases. What does this mean for the island's money supply? Well, we just calculated M1 just with the simple currency outstanding, and we now have less currency on the island. So that decreases the island's money supply. It's just gone. And so that's pretty straightforward. And then the next thing is, are there any implications for aggregate supply and aggregate demand? And then sketch these changes. Well, if I forget how many people are on the island, what is it, 5? There are 5 people here, and one of the wealthier ones, in fact, just lost 75% of his wealth. How many people are on Gilligan's Island? 3, 6? 7 people are on the island. One of the 7 people just lost most of his wealth. He's not going to be able to consume as much. So in our model, this is what the island economy can produce. And we were at an equilibrium before this event occurred. What's going to happen? Does the productive capacity of the island change because of this money lost? No, because the money it wasn't a very good tool. It didn't have any intrinsic value. It didn't produce anything anyway. But a seventh, in terms of population of the economy, lost his wealth. And he's one of the wealthier members of the economy, lost most of his wealth. So what that means for us is that aggregate demand is down. And in the short run, output is going to fall. Because this person is no longer buying as much from the other members of the economy. And so that's going to push down on prices. They're likely to put things on sale. In this example, really, with being a small economy and a group of people who know each other, maybe that's part of the appeal to this, at least for me, they might feel a little sympathetic and produce things for him at some kind of a discount. You know, they don't want him to starve. They know the guy, that kind of thing. But still want to get paid because it's not fair to everyone else if they just produce it for him for free because he was a dummy and went swimming with his money in his shorts. So if that's what's happening, we might have some downward pressure on the price level. But because they can continue to make the goods and services they used to be able to make, what they're inclined to do is to shift back and just permanently lower the price level and move back out here at some time over time. So our initial change just looked like this decline in aggregate demand. But I'm just thinking through the new classical approach, and the question is, well, how long does it take for the economy to adjust and go from point A to point B to down to point C? That's the part that's sort of the schism in macroeconomics, is around that shift. How long does it take to go back from B to C? But A to B, that's a no-brainer. So that fall in aggregate demand is what you wouldn't have thought through for letter C there. Then letter D, does this event, this is the professor losing his money, affect the long-run ability of the economy to produce? Why run out? No, because the resources are unchanged. The productive resources on the island are unchanged. Letter E. Thanks to Professor, in the long run, the island economy now has the island economy now has more the same amount or fewer dollars chasing more the same amount or fewer goods. Well, thanks to him, it has fewer dollars chasing the same amount of goods. Then what happens to the price level? Well, remember from the very beginning of the semester, dollars per good would be kind of a clunky way to ask for a price. Dollars per good. We have fewer dollars and the same amount of goods. Dollars per good, clunky way to say price is lower. So prices are ultimately going to fall because of what the professor did. Letter F. Are the remaining dollars valued more or less? What does this imply for the house, lending, or interest rates? Well, dollars are more scarce. Each dollar buys more. If the price of a good falls, that means each dollar buys more percentage of that good. That's a neat way to think of things, isn't it? So the dollars are more valued, and if the howls are lending money, since they're rich, it's more likely they're going to charge higher interest rates because the value of dollars has changed. So I think I'll stop there with number 3 having been discussed and put on the board. That way gives me a chance to erase this board and a chance to put this video online so it's less clunky to deal with all these videos.